You're watching Weirdo Universe, where wonders take flight for the show. Oh, Mom,
I'm AJ.
this is Weirdo Universe, and we're just going to talk. We're just talking. 'Cause honestly, I mean, I know there's a lot of like other. There's news with Spider-Man and Supergirl. I seen the movie. It was okay, or it's okay to watch. It's enough to watch the writing, but it's still good enough to go ahead and watch it for people that will see this later. It's a good enough movie to watch it. It's just when you listen to it, the writing kind of gets a little wonky, but it's a decent movie. As you know, I've seen the CW verse, so I'm just like my hopes weren't high on this, but I'm just like I've seen the CW. CW kind of cooked a bit with their show. Let's see how the actual DC verse does it. So I'm like, all right. So decent movie. Lobo was funny. I think now I'm growing on the new Superman. The new actor that's playing Superman. He did some cameos, and
I
I'm
gotta agree with that.
on it.
I think when after you told me to like watch the Superman film, I was just like, I don't know.
That was
But
James
then I
Gunn.
watched it.
That was James Gunn. This was from a different actor. I guess was trying to at least portray it or copy it. Who knows? But try to give it a shot of his own style while trying to get stick with James
Well,
Gunn.
see, I say that I was a little like just a little hesitant on it because it was just like we had Henry Cavill. You were supposed to get him coming back for the role for like a um, Black Adam versus Superman film or something like a couple projects, and then we never got that. So it's just like I don't know. But then I watched the Superman film. And I was like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty decent. Plus, the actor for the new Superman is definitely like he definitely portrays the character very well. I will give him that. Like he does Clark very well as a separate identity, and then as Superman alone, I think is definitely interesting because he definitely shows that he values the morals of the character on a unique level that was kind of similar to Henry's version a little bit, but it was a bit more. How can I say? I don't want to say open, but it was more visible in a way. So I thought that was really interesting with him, and it's what David
Oh, his last
is,
name.
but his first name's David though, right?
Yeah, David something, I believe. I think
Okay,
it should be David. But like, there are some
but
parts. Sorry,
gone.
go. Let me go. You go.
Well, I was just gonna say, but I did kind of enjoy David's portrayal in his solo film, so I can't wait to see it in Supergirl when I end up actually finally watching it at some point.
Actually, I did realize in the Supergirl, so they did a good flashback on how they interpret of what was going on with Krypton. I was doom scrolling, and they did like for one of the like I don't know, it was Injustice movies or some animation series, and it was a scene like a clip of Batman trying to help Supergirl's memory, and they show these two golden statues, and she says like, "Oh, like around this, would this help?" And she's like, "Sort of," but she does recall now from Batman Zoom Kal-El kind of helped her out, but it's like no, she knows by memory, and she says that what was shown in the movie was about her parents knew that their planet is pretty much about to become a black hole. The core is unstable, so they're ready to just pretty much destroy the planet within. So they did show that. So I'm like, okay, this must be where they must have got their information. It was cool. The other thing was kind of cool it's how they show how kryptonite affects. Because you know when you see the other movies, like you see the green, like kind of not ooze, but like you see like light green, like shining in the with Kryptonians. But
Mm-hmm.
they kind of made a little darker twist. They kind of turn it like a plague, and the way they interpret it was like the dog. So the mom. So anyway, Supergirl's mom was sick, and the doctor and it's where they're speaking in their native tongue. And when you hear Kryptonian, it's like you don't know. It's like Middle Eastern sort of language, or maybe Russian. It was kind of really hard to tell because it's like a mixture almost. But anyway, they were talking in their native tongue, and pretty much I was saying about the soil in on Krypton, knowing there's like some kind of minerals that gets loose, and it kind of like I guess somehow must have like entered the main part of the city when their parents were trying to save what's left of Earth or what's left of Krypton, this giant like dome, and it just kind of just picks it up, so it makes like a floating city. But unfortunately, that city just becomes like the Black Plague. But for Krypton, like the Krypton affects it, so it even shows when they're infected. Like like for example, like my veins, it would just turn like black, like as if it's infecting the bloodstream. So it's almost like this. You can see
See,
how.
they also did that with the CW version too.
Yeah, but I don't know. But they showed this one like I was like, ooh, they kind of made it a little darker in a way.
Also,
When I saw the CW, it's just like, oh, you see the green, you see the red, like shine, kind of like infecting the brain. But they did this whole like dark twist of seeing how the kryptonite affecting it, like going through the bloodstream and just the whole veins turning black.
well, see, I will say the one thing that you did mention about Kara's parents also noticing the potential danger of their planet
Mm-hmm.
is also really a fun fact because I've always, growing up watching Superman and whatnot, and hearing like different variations of how Clark's biological father was the one who was like trying to warn their people and everything, but to also like get somebody else that's also important to basically Clark's family
Mm-hmm.
and their parents also being like, "Hey, our planet's gonna die if we don't
Save
try
it
something."
or stable it. They're like, nah,
Yeah, like I always kind of used to like growing up. I always used to like question like, how come it was just Clark's like biological dad noticing this? Like,
but yeah,
who else?
as we know in the the new DC verse, as James Gunn's trying to rewrite it, he's interpreting that his dad is trying to like my son's going to be like pretty much like Omni Man in a way,
Dude was literally trying to say that
like my
Clark's father Jor-El was wanting his son to have some type of harem on Earth.
like, but because it's kind of weird because in when the whole destruction, like it was funny when they show when she's like narrating it. This is before her birth. It was just like her mom just chilling outside, and just the destruction comes, and just a giant like the one massive like monumental like pillar just about to crash, and she almost died, but thanks to the dad saving the day to pull her away. But it's like they
You
feared
know,
it happened.
I am also kind of curious though, because in the movie for Superman, they did talk about how the video was or could have been like created by Lex in some way. But the way that they also made it sound was that it was a genuine message from Kal-El's parents. Like it was literally like their dying wish. So I'm curious if that was just James Gunn wanting to change a little bit of Superman's original story and give him more of a death to um, become a better hero, or like what was the actual motive in that whole idea regarding the video for Superman's parents just to be like,
Well,
hey,
here's okay. This is one thing they kind of show. As the city was pretty much about to be like a black hole, the parents of Supergirl sees a pod, and he's like, "Dang, he already sent his son out of this already. Like the pod's out, and there's Superman as a baby, just gone already. Like he already sent them out, and he's just like, huh." And then down the line, as she grows, like they did this whole thing, like when it's like such a happy moment, just plummets, like just like oh yay, and then it's like oh then the kryptonite plague just hits. But during as it goes, it mentioned the dad. So the mom dies from the kryptonite. As then it just became like as I keep mentioning the black kind of black plague. Everyone's getting infected, but the dad got exposed with radiation of it, and I was just kind of like, I thought the doctor was saying something about the soil, some particles in the soil of the planet, as this thing called kryptonite. Because that's how it sounded like, and I'm just thinking like, but I guess since he was taking care of his wife so much, he got exposed to the radiation, so it was slowly killing him. But before his death, he found out Superman's dad. He found the schematics and he built a giant pod. Now for Supergirl, now she's like, I don't know how aging works over there, but she might look like she's 16, but she's probably only 14. Who knows? But he built a big enough pod, and then he gave him this like very like like goodbye message, and just telling him to try to like be the opposite of what he knows Kal-El's parents wants him to be. He's trying to tell her to be the opposite.
that
And,
would explain
and
why Kara is more the type to like not really hold back or anything, or is just more kind of like
well, like
I'm gonna say this out loud now.
you say that, but in the movie, when she finally kind of got out of this like depression cycle, pretty much of just as when she. So actually, before I go to that, she actually was. So when she landed, and this is where it gets a little funny, where now they're Super Kal-El all grown up. But remember, he was a baby. He never knew the native tongue of the actual language. So he's just speaking English, like, "Hey, how's it going?" And it's just like he's trying to like. Then it's like a moment, like,
Well, that's also kind of funny the way that you say it, because that also proves my last stream, I think, when I mentioned that Kara was supposed to be older than Clark, but because of her, depending on the storyline, the way that she comes to Earth kind of like makes her younger than Clark by the
yeah,
time she gets to Earth.
yeah, but yeah, the
It's
so
really weird how that happens.
yeah
But
in
I
the
mean, I guess I can kind of get why, because, like, depending on the space travel, and they do say that, like, depending on how far you are from Earth, that's also that also determines on how many years or so that goes by
mhm.
for people that are on Earth. So it's a lot of timey wimey stuff.
Yeah, like you said
And if
about
you get that reference, thank you.
if you get that age, um, uh, so in most in deep, a little starting to get a little deeper into the plot of the movie, when they get to like a planet that pretty much is still by the red sun, don't, something, or anyway, she mentions like, oh, like, Cal, like, oh yeah, we're like 10 years apart. So I'm like, now since he got there first. You think of the CW, you see the intro like 25,000 times. Oh, they got an escape pod and they blew off and she went off course and But in this
Well, it's
case,
also funny because there's also some of the like animated stuff and whatnot that also kind of dive into their backstory and how they meet. And it always ends up with like Clark somehow becoming older than her. So it's just always nice to kind of see that dynamic happening regardless of her supposed to be older than him, but then it suddenly just turns around and it's like, oh no, I'm now older than you.
so in case you guys are in, boy, I'm saying difficulties. In the movie, she actually was at Metropolis for these a little while, but then he couldn't. She tried to adjust and she just couldn't. So I think she just thought, well, just thinking now, remember the last message her dad said until he pretty much died. Like
I'm
when she
curious about
left,
that now.
when she left though, it shows the city, the main city, if you know the name. It's just sitting in a debris field, covering the dome that her dad made. And I'm just saying to myself, like, that's pretty much gonna be like The Walking Dead over there, because it's like it's if somehow maybe down the line they actually went to the planet or went to the main city, it's gonna be like a, a silent ghost. It's just like they get there and it's like at this point,
I could just imagine them getting there and then it's just like skeletons all across the area.
well, I mean, everyone that gets infected, in order to keep, I guess, I wonder this is how they did it, which maybe a little dark, is anyone that
Well,
dies, they it's actually a cremation to power up to keep the force field going. They just put it in, burn the body, cremate the body, and let their ashes be the power source, and they just keep using human fuel.
that's crazy.
But I don't know
I
entirely.
like that dark idea, but that's
But because when
wild.
they showed the funeral, they took the funeral of Supergirl's mom. They did the ceremony, and I trying to recall. I think I do recall seeing them putting it in the where the core is of the thing, and it just shoots up. Like me, I'm assuming that's like the life force of the Krypton, just like keep it alive. Because I don't know how he was generating it. But anyway,
I am also kind of curious because mechanically, Kara is supposed to be like a little bit more, well, a little different from Clark's like moral grounds. Like she's more like on the edge of it. Like she still like cares and everything and whatnot and tries to like save people and do good the way that Clark does. But I wonder if like in this movie the reason why she's having a tough time adjusting is because one, she has to figure out who she is. Like she's not that because I mean you got on one hand you got her dad trying to tell her who she should be or and whatever, and then you got on the other hand like obviously Clark being like, hey, we need to be like this way that the people of Earth don't think that we're trying to like conquer them or anything. And so it's just like kind of like, well, what is it that Kara wants? Because I mean it is technically her choice. And it would be the same way with like even Clark, right?
I mean,
But I mean like
within the plot, which I kind of liked about the plot, they kept it a little basic. They weren't trying to go too beyond crazy yet. Just trying to she's in this little cycle, just she has like her own own ship, pretty much living like an RV sort of thing, and she just flies to this one place, goes to this bar, and just drinks like crazy. But she has been doing that so much, she knows the name
she
Lobo.
does also get kind of like referenced in the credit scene for Superman too.
Yeah,
That because I remember Clark even going at one point with one of the robots, which is like, oh yeah, she usually tends to go to a planet with red suns. That way she can get drunk or something. And I always thought that whole scene was just kind of funny because it was just like, how does she get there? Does she just fly through space on her own, or does she use a ship, or like
But it's
what's?
kind of funny. It's here. Okay, okay. Now since you said it, this is where it can get a little confusing because in that outro, she's wearing the suit, but in the intro, as we know from the trailer, which they started like what you see in the trailer, like peeing on the magazine, just like, oh, the line she says. But then it's like she doesn't wear it. Then it's like, well, that's weird. You wore it to fly all the way back to grab your dog, but now then you kind of act like, oh, I never wore. It's been a while since I wore this. So,
You
but in the
know, I'm
movie though,
curious because at first I was kind of curious if it would be like some type of prequel when you talked about how like it shows a little bit about Krypton and whatnot for like her perspective.
yeah.
But then I was just like, I mean, like, would she have already been wearing the suit, or like, what exactly is the timeline on that? So it's just like, and then like thinking about like how Superman ended with her like wearing the trench coat over her outfit. I was just like, I wonder like, is her movie gonna be like some type of sort of prequel thing, or
Well, it's not a
like,
prequel. We could say pretty much a like not a sequel. I want to say it's more like a filler
okay,
because it's more of a filler because they. So in the movie, just to add some side characters, you got Lobo. He appeared like enough times. Got Superman. He comes to try to help her out. And then there's this
well,
one.
okay. My question before you continue is: do they mention any of the events that happen in the Superman film?
No,
Interesting. Okay.
because in this, it was kind of like we're seeing her trying to like get out of the cycle, and what the approach is. So it's a little side character. There's this uh, little girl that her dad was like a forger, and I don't know. I forgot what the main villain is, but it's kind of like this these like space barbarians, you could say. Which apparently what they do is they abduct kids to become like, yeah, they abduct kids from parents.
That's a whole wild statement for them to do in a movie.
And then that's well in the movie. So in the movie where uh they were trying what this couple was trying to get their daughter back, and they mentioned that like these barbarians come to the parents to pretty much abduct their kids. So anyway, I just want to stop it there. But um, in the movie though, there's a side character which the writing was just I mean, it was one of those characters that like was quite annoying, even though it's not the actor, it's the writing. So this little girl, and so anyway, this backstory was her dad was a forger and he made all these great weapons. So this barbarian leader, that's like the main villain, I forgot his name. I won't say Braxton, but I think yeah, Braxton. I think that's the name.
That
Um,
sounds kind of familiar.
he goes. They found. They goes to their parents' house. He finds them, and he knows why. They wants the keys to this great weapons. And this character, the daughter of this was the character, kind of the main character of the group. She notices and she walks, and this is where it gets really sad. She wasn't the only child. It was an older brother, and he was just listening to music. And there's this little like mini kind of confrontation. And the saddest part was the like he noticed his sister and he was trying to scare her, but he didn't know what was going on because he had headphones on. So he just he's like boo, and then he dies. The Braxton throws like one of his axes and kills him. And then
What the
the
fuck?
mom retaliates. She dies. The dad sets. He had like since he's kind of a armor. He's like a forger slash armorer person. So he had explosives set to destroy his ship. and then he had tried a little duel with him. He dies, and all that's left is her, burning house, family dead, that whole story. But as she tries to recruit someone for revenge, goes to the bar where I'm just keep saying Supergirl, but if you know the name, you know the name. Um, uh, she's like saying it's like my name is I forgot the character name, but she says her name. My dad was a forger, and he has his sword that he made, and he's using it as a bargaining chip for someone that uh, will help him find Braxton so he can kill him. And it goes on like she tried to like speak, and of course all these bounty hunters are just enjoying their day, kind of practically ignoring. She pulled out the sword, it got some people's attention, but and then there's like this kind of like predatory, like a predator, sort of character, just like stealing it. And then Supergirl kind of saves. She did this move where she grabs the mantle or the ride that he was on and like flipped and kicked him off the thing. And this is like a beast. And she just straight up, remember, she has like her powers aren't there, but she's still like strong enough to like grab, swing, and just kick, like almost like just like a kick and knock him out.
That's horrifying.
But no, she was just, but as it progresses, she's like, "Oh, you can help me," but he's like, "Nah, I'm good." And then, unfortunately, Braxton pops up, steals the ship, and poisons the dog. Shoots a poison dart, and he has the cure. So then now she has to find him. But then there's this whole it's weird because where it's like, no, I can do this alone. You stay here. She sneaks behind her and hops on a shuttle. Hops on a shuttle, and this is where it gets. I don't know if people know. I don't know if this is in the lore or maybe she's just so adapted to outer space so much. So the side character, you could say, one of the side characters for Supergirl, she gets into a conversation with this like I don't know, like mantis mantis sort of creature, and as you know, doesn't speak word, just speaks like echoes. Supergirl stands up to help her out. She stands up, but she I don't know if that she just learned this over time, but like in certain like horror movies where like the jaws are like extended to like beyond human like comprehension,
Yeah.
right? She actually speaks. She was just pretty much trying to speak what the creature was saying, and I was like, I was a little freaky. I'm like, wait, since when she was able to do that? And I just thought, man, it was a question for me. Like, I don't recall her having that sort of, I guess, mobility to like open her jaw or like extend her jaw enough so she can like kind of like kind of like create echoes like the creature's noise to talk to it. It was a bit creepy, not gonna lie. So that was a little freaky. But but anyway, yeah. But just like anyway, down the line, there's a lot of that sort of like she goes somewhere, she sneaks behind, and then the line when people say, "Oh, thank you for it's like thank you for like helping me out." But half the movie, when you watch it, you're gonna notice half the movie is like her just pretty much sneaking behind, and then she goes on saying that whole line like thank the superhero. I'm like, this whole time you've been wanting like you were angry at her, and now you're thanking her, even though most of the movie was more like she told you to stay. You're here trying to like reach out, like trying to like not reach out, but just I don't know. It was a lot of that sort of dialogue with her, and I'm just like, what's with the writing with this character? Don't tell me, I don't want her to be like that annoying type that just does that whole
Do you
thing.
remember the character's name by any chance?
Yeah, I'll do some research real quick. You're saying the side character.
Because
I mean,
I'm
the
curious.
the actress that played, she did well. There was a emotional scene where she flew into space. You know, when you have to release some anchor, you see in the movies they do like swimming pools or the ocean. She, knowing her, getting her flight back, she flies up to space and she just yells. Of course, you don't hear it, but if you watch it in 3D, you see the her teardrop and just floats as it kind of goes right towards the screen. So I thought
Damn.
that was kind of cool. All right, what's this person's name? If they show it, uh, the actress name is Eve Riley, and she played a Ruth.
Ruth.
Ruthyye.
Mm, damn. I was hoping that she was going to be in my book, but she's not.
Emily Beecham
I'm
played a.
looking through this. I was hoping the character was going to be in this, but
Oh
she's not.
crap! Oh, I thought now it's not Braxton, it's Krem.
Creme. I do not have them in here either.
So
How is it I have like 4 Kryptonians or whatever in this damn book, and I don't have any one of their villains
he's a Belgian.
besides maybe
He's
very little.
he's from Belgium. So the actor who plays him he's from Belgium.
Huh.
Anyway, so I know you're mentioning about like anger. I showed you the clip, but she tossed the main villain of this movie like a rag doll. She even interpreted if you played the
Oh
Injustice.
yeah, I remember the clip you were talking about.
I think there's a move in Supergirl where she actually does the whole one arm toss thing. She does like she kind of like there's this move where she like flips the character and then just lets go for like half a second or one, grabs it and then like does like one more like pounce or like whip, and I was just like, damn. The laser beams, but as you know, Krypton's
Heat Vision.
E-Vision. That was pretty cool how they showed that. But yeah, at the end of there is no. Unfortunately, I think I know why there's no middle credit scene, no ending because I think she's now because in the end of the movie, just to spoil that part, she goes back to see Superman, see his cousin, and I think the ones work together. But the way they showed it though, I was like, wait, in the Superman movie, remember the whole part where he's pretty much becoming enemy number one of the whole nation?
Yeah.
And he's in that whole kind of hotel suite room. Funny enough, it's almost like they must have took that out and used that as the ending for this as a way for them to talk. And so I'm assuming they're going to work together maybe in the next film. She'll have more. Now she's going to be in the movie, and then later on,
You know, that would be interesting, especially because then she could also meet Lex. And I know that they also said that in the next Superman film, they're going to be Superman and Lex are going to be, I think, teaming up a little bit, which is going to be really interesting to watch, especially because of how literally how much they hate each other.
so let me see how that goes. So as we're going to just keep on we're just going to start talking. What else should we talk about?
Well, as you know, that I've been playing this. Yes, I finally got my hands on the third installment of the original trilogy for God of War. There is one part of this game that I utterly and absolutely hate.
What is that?
You know the musical bit?
Well, for me, I'm trying to recall if I played that one. I don't think I did. So
Well, there's a little section in this game where you have to like actually like you know how in some games they have like those little puzzles where you have to like hit certain buttons to yeah, it's like that. And
you actually did a puzzle in a game like that, though. That's interesting.
They do have a few puzzles. It's really interesting. They do kind of make it where you actually have to like play strategically. Like there's this one area like very early on in the game when you first like go down in the underworld and you're going through that whole like first process of going through it. Um, just before like you get the one dude's bow, I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but actually hold on. Oh, no, it wasn't Apollo though, but it is the bow of Apollo. And it's interesting because there's this like kind of like not really a puzzle like, but sort of where you actually have to use this caged beast to like light this like cauldron of something or whatever. So it kind of like gives you air to like kind of fly up on to get to get to this lever. It's I don't know how to explain it,
But I kind of get what you're
but
saying. I get what you're saying.
yeah. So they do have like little puzzles like throughout the game and whatnot, and but it's the one with the like the kind of like musical area. I think like mid game or something, and it's just I absolutely hate it because there's moments where it's not even like very like parted. It's not like this length. Like it's about like this small of a gap, and you have to like repeatedly like press certain buttons.
Okay.
And then worst of all, they switch you up on it, and they actually have to make you like press two buttons at once,
Oh,
and then go back to one button, and then again doing two buttons again. And it's a very small, short little puzzle that they have, but it's the one thing out of this entire game that I find annoying as shit. I love it though. Like the story in God of War 3 is absolutely amazing. I wish I could play the first two just so I could get the full length because
well,
I know this is more like the finale of like the first trilogy.
mhm.
So I really want to like be able to like see and play through the other games, the other stories. But I noticed one thing out of God of War 3 though. There's one god that literally gets left alone, to my knowledge,
What was
and
that?
it's Aphrodite. She's literally the only god or goddess, if you want to be technical, um, that Kratos literally does not kill.
I'm trying to remember what Aphrodite looks like.
Aphrodite is um I can't actually physically describe it. I would not recommend showing a photo, only because there is slight nudity regarding the game's design. Which fair. I mean, she is technically the goddess of love, so kind of makes sense she'd be a little of a nudist.
Okay.
But there is a section with her where I guess before you meet Hephaestus again, um, Aphrodite gives you a. It doesn't really affect the story, so it does not matter what you choose. But the game will give you a choice to either stay with Aphrodite or just go on and do like and continue with the game with literally no consequences. There's like it really does not matter what you choose. If you continue to stay with Aphrodite, there's a whole little mini game. I guess you can kind of say more or less than a puzzle. It's again button mashing a little bit, but it's basically where Kratos and Aphrodite hook up.
Gotcha.
And what's funny about it is that you could basically kind of do it more than once. You could do it after Hephaestus also proceeds to try and kill you. Um, I just wanted to be funny and test it out and see how many. But it does like give you like skill points for you to use to like upgrade your like weapons and shit and whatnot. And I really just kind of wanted to try it out just to see like how much of that I can get back. But if you do it the first time, it gives you like so much skill points. And then afterwards, it just kind of gives you like maybe one or two like of the little like orbs for it, which I mean, I guess is fine. But it was just like to have them add that within the game was just kind of funny because there's the whole lore on Greek mythology where Aphrodite is married to Hephaestus, which they birth Pandora and that whole thing. But Aphrodite also has an affair with one of the other gods, Ares. Now, I will say this: a lot of the Greek lore is heavy on certain aspects, which is nasty. And I mean nasty as shit. It's crazy. I'm not getting into it or saying it for reasons because it's just what the fuck. But let's just say Aphrodite and Ares are in the main continuity of Greek lore. Is they're a lot closer than people think. A lot of the gods are a lot closer than people think. And I'm not meaning just romantically. I mean blood related.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Um, but I guess, but when you meet with Hephaestus after meeting or talking to Aphrodite or whatever you choose to do, he's just like he thinks that it's Aphrodite finally visiting him, and then realizes it's Kratos, and he's just like, "Tell me, Kratos, did my wife conquer another god of war?" And it's just literally a little reference to like Ares because he's the original god of war in most of the lore. So you get playing Kratos, who is god of war in this case, and Kratos just drops the like hardest line of anybody who would just be like not giving a fuck. He doesn't deny it happening, but he also doesn't say that nothing happened. Like he literally just like looks to Hephaestus and then proceeds to just say, "That is the question you should ask your wife." And I'm just like, bro, you need to chill, my guy. I know you in your prime and everything, but damn. Um, I am on my third playthrough. My second playthrough I did with this one skin. I'm just kind of like going through the first like difficulty that I completed. Going through different skins that I like that I've seen after completing the game the first time. The second playthrough I did was with the Fear Kratos skin. So that you get is when in the very like last bit of part of the game is when Kratos is kind of like in this like void and his skin isn't gray. It's more like a kind of like a comically like a comic black color coloring. It's kind of like what comic artists use to like sketch in like some of the characters that have like just straight like black tone with a little bit of like certain lighting. And then like his like red streak of like if you know the lore, you know what that is. Where that just glows red. It looks sick. His eyes are like he looks like he's possessed by a demon. It's amazing. I love that skin just because of how menacing it looks in certain areas of the game. It's phenomenal. I ended up going through my third playthrough, which I am still at the near the beginning. I'm just kind of like at the section of getting ready to like murder Helios, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the god of the sun. And I'm wearing, I think it's called the Forgotten Warrior skin. And I don't know if this is exactly what like Kratos looked like before he became the god of war or whatever while he was still a Spartan. But it looks like it was his like old Spartan armor. Like it looks sick. And ironically enough, it also gives him like hair. I don't know if that's from like the. It's not really like a helmet, but like kind of like a crown where you can kind of just like place on where it wraps around your head, kind of thing. So I don't know exactly if it's from the helmet itself or if he just like actually genuinely used to have hair,
No,
but it
he
looks
never
so cool.
he never had hair, but he was a Spartan.
Okay.
In there is a game out that's only for PlayStation 5, and it's actually it's like the very before he became like what he once was, like as a young boy, and I don't know if he was an only. I think he must have had an only. I think he wasn't the only. Like I think he had a brother. Not sure the whole lore on that, but there's a whole thing.
Yes, there is another God of War, I believe, which you also do get the skin of in this game, called Demos.
Yeah,
I think I'm saying that right. But he is also, I think, an actual god in Greek mythology, if I'm not mistaken.
but it's just
So it's
like,
really interesting that you get that within the God of War lore.
but that game is pretty much like it's not like how from God of War Ascension 3, 2,
I
and
always just assumed like the
it's
first God of War game was like where you start him off as a Spartan, and then like halfway to like the end of the game, you have it where he becomes like the God of War, and then he starts his like vengeance journey on
yeah, but
Olympus.
I think there's a little more to that.
um, but yeah, that's really just my take on the third game. I mean, the storyline is incredible. I've been like dying to play like the original three games for God of War since I started the one in 2017 that kind of like revamped the franchise a little bit, and then like obviously Ragnarok. Um, I can't wait to figure out how to play the first two games, and then eventually the upcoming God of War game with
You
Faye.
mentioned about Ares. You mentioned about Ares, and
Yeah,
there's speculation because people are speculating the new God of War game. Would there be other gods from those games? And the one that might pop up the most could be Ares. It makes a little more sense if you think of it.
it would kind of make sense, especially to
Like
see
side
him.
character or something, or just some
Yeah,
cameo.
to have him interact with like Faye, who just ends up having to be like Kratos' wife. Like that would be really interesting to see like her kind of like team up with the original Greek God of War and like just do absolute damage.
Yeah, so we'll see when that comes out. See what yes, sorry. They see what they got in store. So we're going to keep on talking, and I have a couple of things to share. As we know, it's been a while, but the Cyberpunk animation series Edge Runner is starting. Looks like it's slowly coming too, because the second teaser just released. I think this week or last week, so we'll do a reaction to that. And I have something else kind of planned in store too that people have been speculating on. So
Oh,
yeah, well, I'll show you that when we get there. But let's react to the teaser, the second teaser of the new series or the new season. So definitely a lot to reveal for that one.
You know, that reminds me because I think somebody did send me that at one point earlier this week or something,
Hmm.
and immediately I thought about how some characters look like certain characters from Naruto.
And since you mentioned that, um, there's one character. I don't know if his name is G or something. Pretty much, the only thing I learned about him is he's going for revenge. So he's kind of doing the whole Sasuke route in a way. Not sure
And
what
I'm
what
assuming that's the one with the dark hair and kind of like the half burned face, like Zuko from Avatar.
pretty much, but like they they, released or not released, but they did say, of course, there's not gonna be. I don't know, there's gonna be no references or anything about the main character from the last season. It's like it's kind of like a new thing they're doing. Like it's kind
But
of you
that
can
would be
tell.
so cool to like actually kind of get like little like Easter eggs about like Lucy or some of the other characters from the first season. That'd be so cool to at least get like Easter eggs of them. Not full on like straight cameos of where like they show up or anything. Granted, that would still be cool too. But I mean, Easter eggs would just be as great.
So you can kind of tell, like those, like you can, as you say, it is kind of like a Naruto sort of thing because when you
There is one person who looked like Sakura because she had like the same color eyes, same pink hair. Um, I think one kind of looked like Eno, but I don't know if that was just the lighting or something, and it might
but
have
I
just been the
thought
one that looked like Sakura in a darker area or something. I don't know, but
probably the main focus is the kid. And the kid is kind of, it's a bit of a bold character. He's going to be like a journalist or a recording of this group of gangsters or like hit or just this group of gangsters, as you can see, like targeting a lot of like rich folks or just targeting certain people. Like
so it's like Arasaka.
Arasaka or something. But it's like I think we're gonna get this whole thing on like those characters probably are working together, and this kid would just come in and he would just slowly come be part of the family. We'll know. We hopefully we'll learn more. I'm like, is it kind of like what happened to Martinez? Like, did his parents die from a shootout, or who knows? Like, is he trying to be like his dad? Was his dad like a journalist? So he's just trying to be like his pops. Who knows? But it but not only that, I like that song. That I wonder what that song was because that was a pretty good song. They played in the
I
middle.
still find the "I Really Want to Be at Your House" song the most heart wrenching song that I've heard in my life. I mean, it's so nice to listen to and everything, but it's also so sad.
So my little gift, you could say, for Fourth of July weekend in a way. So we always been wondering, we in the K-pop in this series, a movie, we know there's two rappers, Baby Saja and Zoe, and the way they rap, people ever thought, in a way, maybe we'll see maybe in the next movie, hopefully maybe a little further down or something. We were wondering, can we see these two rap? And I was listening to music during work, and I heard this like rap battle of like I don't know what the creator's name is, but this music developer did it. Like I don't know the groups, but he like I don't know if it's her with someone another artist and they're just doing a rap battle or it's just something I don't know, maybe it's just the creator of it and it's just two random rap people. But I listened to it quite a bit and I'm gonna show it to you. We're actually gonna see it live, but of course it's not a like I mean I like the art like if you get it if you find it with this sort of design, not like with the slash, but you see like these two like pictures, that's it. And
Honestly, I think that kind of works well though.
it works well, but there's not only that, they did 2 rounds and they may well do a third one down the line, but they've done 2 rounds of this. And I've been trying to debate which one's best, and I'll let you hear it. I'm gonna put captions on this, just in case you can hear it. But here we go.
You wanted war. I'll give you one.
I don't need war. I am the curse.
You talk about demons, I've slain worse. Every beat I drop feels like a curse. You flex that crown, but it's just rehearsed. My bars cut deep, your flow's reversed. Huntrix train in the dark for fame. We bled through trials, we earned our name. You just post pics, chase acclaim. We live the music, you play the game.
Your bars sound clean, but they lack that dirt. You're too polished, scared to get hurt. This ain't glitter, this is blood and work. I'm the reaper, your dessert. You say you hunt demons, girl, that's cute. But I am the one they salute. You got fans, I got recruits. My sound bites hard, absolute.
Baby boy, you bark, but don't bite. You talk heat, but I am the fight. Your flow's loud, but lacks insight. I spit bars that rewrite the night. You mimic menace, I craft art. Your rhymes in, we're my star. You talk souls, I take hearts apart. I don't spit, I play my part.
I'm just gonna pause real quick because what was kind of interesting if you think of how Baby raps to Zoe's, because Baby's more dark. Like it's kind of like you can tell, like just for the person that's just doing the lines for this, but it's like the lyrics. You can hear that like how the difference because Zoe's more upbeat, where you got Baby kind of going slow dark, but he kind of like
I was just gonna say Baby's verses seem like they're a lot more like definitely like he's trying to stab a wound.
yeah
Like he's definitely trying to be a lot more hurtful than Zoe is.
But when you hear just keep listening to Zoe's, because then you'd be like, damn.
Tricks girl, always chasing shine. Got heart, but no headline. I built thrones, you color inside the line. You rhyme soft, I redefine. Your verses drip sugar, I spit venom. You crave fame, I become the emblem. My crew's chaos, your group system. We rule nightmares, you're still victim.
You call yourself chaos, please that's weak. All bark, no soul, just technique. You rhyme like metal, cold and bleak, but there's no story in what you speak. You need demons to stand tall. Without them, you crumble, fall. Your beats heavy, but meaning is small. Huntrix girls, we give it all.
You call me weak, that's your mistake. I'm the quake that makes will shake you fake. Rage, I am the stake. I build storms for gods to break. Huntrix fights, we conquer done. You preach unity, I run the sun. You claim hearts, I claim the gun. When I drop verses, planets run.
That's probably like the best verse from this first one for him. That's my best. I like that one.
Think you're gods, now you're ghosts. All thunder, no soldiers boast. Your empire's made of borrowed posts. We built legends, you built hosts. I don't chase kings, I dethrone fate. Every line I write, recalibrate. You play the villain, I narrate. Your chaos on the storm's debate.
Zoe, you talk like you won, but wait, I'm the end game. You're just bait. Your rhymes sound holy, but filled with hate. You're preaching love, but feed the bait. We rise from sin, not from shine. You spit light, I've been time. Huntrix pretty, Saja's prime. You bring sparks, I drop mine.
You crave the stage, we own the lore. While you scream war, I settle score. Your takeover died at the door. Huntrix legends, nothing more. Such a boys roar, but Huntrix girls reigns. We're not puppets to power chains. You talk blood, we talk veins. Our music heals, yours sustains.
You bleed words, I bleed sound. Your fans cry, mine surround. You talk love, I talk crown. There's levels here, don't back down. I ain't cruel, I'm just real. You dream hearts, I seal the deal. This isn't war, it's ideal. Saja runs the battle flame.
You want the crown, earn the pain.
You want the fame, I own the flame.
You rule the dark, I break the chain.
call it grace, I call it rain.
Your bars loud, mine cut precise.
Your world sweet, mine's cold as ice.
You play for fame, I roll the dice.
You talk of queens, I name the price.
You talk takeover, but I already did.
Oh,
There's one more. But let's just break that down real quick.
that's that's a tough one.
That's just round one. So what do you think? Well, that's the slight edge.
Ooh, I gotta say, Zoe was losing me in the first half of that video. Like, she definitely,
Zoe?
ooh,
Zoe?
she definitely lost me like halfway through the first half of the video, and then like after like Baby's last verse and she started again, she was going band for band for that shit. I mean, she was going harder than he was in the first half. That was crazy.
I can't wait if they do it sounds like they hopefully do a third one, but
I hope so. I gotta say, at least for this one, I gotta go with Zoe.
yeah. Like you think, cause like the more I hear, it's like it seems like, of course, Zoe's rap is more pop, while Baby Saj is more of the cutthroat, just going for it.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was just like, she was kind of losing me in the first half of the video because, like you just said, Baby was going more for the cutthroat, like verses.
But now,
And then, whew, man.
now listen to the second round, and this is like different pictures they used. But now listen to the second one, and then you're kind of like, oh, they might have to flip flop between the two. Which one really wins this? There we go. We'll pause as to talk.
Two, let's do it. Back for more. Run it twice. I can't finish you. I will end this now.
You the youngest in your group that explains the way you act, like a kid with a mic trying to prove what you lack. Throwing tantrums and verses, calling it heat, but it sound like a child stop feeding a beat. You don't lead, you just follow with a louder tone, like a copy of a copy trying to claim a throne. Your whole squad demons doing dirty work for a name. I bring light to the stage, you just feed in the flame.
You made an album called Define, let me define you real quick. All that talk about power, fragile as it gets. Drop a small noise, yeah, the title fit the track. Whole song when I notice, nobody playing it back. Breaking fourth wall where your music even at. Cycles channel quiet with 100 tracks. You scream queen, but still looking for approval in the room. If they stop clapping for a second, you assume you're doomed.
So you can tell now they're going at it. She just that first verse.
She's definitely going more cutthroat in this round for sure.
But then you see how Baby counters it, because you see what he goes.
See, it's interesting because in the first round, Zoe started off with that more K-pop upbeat verse, and then this one you're getting kind of Baby where he's doing that just a little rougher.
Yeah.
And Zoe's just straight going for the throat in this.
Like that. About heartbreak, but don't know what love is. Just a face in the spotlight with no substance. You sing about pain like you've been through it all, but you wouldn't recognize love if it answer your call. You preach about freedom, but here's what I see. You gotta end hundreds just to be able to breathe. That ain't power, that's dependence in disguise. You ain't free, you just get what you can't override.
Yeah, you hate that I took your colors, now I'm shining in your lane. Made your whole aesthetic mine and still elevated the name. You built a whole image, I just wore it better. Now your own reflection looking like a trendsetter. You say I don't know love, but I know control, and I got your whole team breaking under pressure, losing hold. If I really wanted, I could wrap my fingers tight around her tricks and then the whole thing in one night.
Calculator, you predictable at best. Same flow, same style, same no depth. You a highlight reel, not a full show. One good angle, but the rest don't glow. You sell an image, I bring substance. You chase reactions, I build trust. You want the crown, but don't know the cost. I pay my dues, you just got tossed.
Yo, you talking angles.
I'll let him finish.
See in the frame, but your own team switching sides in the game. You so focused on me, you forgot your crew. I ain't your problem. That's internal with you. You say you solid, but the cracks all show. You try to lead, but you're moving too slow. You pointing fingers, but missing the truth. Your biggest opponent standing in you.
I gotta. Mm.
That's the climax of that.
See, I'm noticing something with Zoe though, and it's kind of similar to what was going in round one, which is another reason why I said that I think she had this was because she's not only just rapping, she's also going through that whole like pop style. Like
Yeah.
she's going back and forth. She's legit switching between the two styles, and that is so hard to do for certain people.
I don't know.
So
I don't
having
know.
it where that they do that for Zoe is so unique.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the rappers are interpreting each one, but it's good. But I was just like, someone finally decided to do this because people have been thinking about this.
Internal or not, I still stay on top. Are you chasing attention that's ready to drop? You don't run this, you just got lucky timing. I stay winning, you just keep on climbing. You call it progress, I call it delay. You want good moment, I'm here to stay. You talking big, but your reach is small. I built the stage, you just showed up to call.
Yeah, lucky timing, now I earn my place. Why you stuck, we right in the same old case. You still talking like I'm under your level, but each time I show up, I raise the threshold. You built the stage, I took the crowd, turned your quiet room into something loud. You say you're the top, but here's the twist. Every time I step in, they choose this.
You reach out in the crown, I'm the reason you exist. You a queen, off applause, take it away, you don't exist. You stole my whole style, now you lost in my design. I wore it better once, now your image look like mine.
You preach heartbreak, but you never felt a thing.
I'm feeling mine, I don't feel love, I feel that I been. You loud,
Cause you're young, not because you got skill.
and you loud, cause you're scared I can finish this for real. Round 3, if you can handle it, is that how short you can last?
That's how she ended.
I still gotta give it to Zoe.
Like, I feel like, 'cause honestly, it's not bad with Baby's thing, but it's just like,
See, what grinds me with Zoe is the fact that she not only just switches between the two styles, but she also mixes them. Like that is. Whew.
and I've been listening to like these 2 rounds, just feel like which one, like when it comes
You gotta send me that.
like when it comes to like listening to like which one kind of like who has it, because it's honestly it seems debatable. You could say Zoe, sure, but in reality,
I will say that if you weren't asking me to like really decide on who sounded better or anything,
let's find.
I have to say both of them were really good.
So let's find out. Like, hopefully a 3rd round, because you can hear how she ended it. Even the ending, I'm just like, damn. That's what I was saying. Like, there's a part of me like, damn. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
with like the second half of the 2 rounds so far, she literally went for the jugular in both endings.
and she made fun of his height.
Yeah, like I mean, whew.
But anyway, I just thought to share that, and hopefully we get a 3rd one.
I'm impressed. I mean, because again, like the way that they actually had Zoe switch between the two styles, like actually like kind of sing half of it and then like rap half of it, and then like at the end of this specifically, or towards the end of it, she was like mixing both into one like freestyle.
Yeah, because like I noticed as well, like this. I like how the second one starts, because like round 2, let's go back for more. Doing it twice. You know, it's like baby. You know, it's like someone just
That
like
was
rap battles. You know, when they
oh.
like says the name.
See, that just makes me more excited for the second film because it's just like
I know.
I
Like
definitely
how
want to see.
but
I
maybe-
definitely want to see Zoe rap more in the second film.
I think maybe now, since Baby is like out of whatever cycle he was trying to prove, now since he's kind of pulled out of it, now we're going to hear those 2 sing together or separate. We'll find out. Without further ado, though, appreciate you tuning in. And happy 4th of July, and we'll see you on the flip side.